wins here, and the Rams lose in this window to Detroit.
All right, we are live, and we have got not one, but two huge matchups going on right now. We have got the Green Bay mother-loving Packers taking on the Denver Broncos in the Rocky Mountains at Empower Field at Mile High. Meanwhile, we've got the Detroit Lions taking on the LA Rams at SoFi Stadium in Hollywood. But, of course, we have to start with the big story because Buffalo, Houston, and Jacksonville all won, along with the fact that the LA Chargers defeated the Kansas City Chiefs. The 2025 NFL playoffs will not include the Kansas City Chiefs. That's right. Patrick Mahomes is not going to get an invite to the postseason party, which is crazy because if I have this stat correct, the Chiefs have not missed the playoffs since 2014. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But I know they have not been eliminated prior to the AFC Championship in the Patrick Mahomes era. And I will say, in terms of this Packers-Broncos game, I do think this is a possible preview of what we could see at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California on February 8th, 2026 in Super Bowl 60. And we are underway. Meanwhile, in the other game, you've got massive playoff implications with the Rams hosting the Detroit Lions, especially because the Rams have to play at the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday Night Football next week. So this is an interesting spot for this game to be happening against the Lions. Meanwhile, the Seahawks are, of course, hosting Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts. But nonetheless, I want to talk a little bit more about this Packers-Broncos game because coming into it, I said this game was more important for the Packers. Here's why. Because this Broncos matchup is sandwiched between two massive showdowns against the Chicago Bears. Heading into last week's game, the Bears were 9-3 and were not only first place in the NFC North, but they were also the number one seed in the NFC. Meanwhile, the Packers were 8-3-1, and they sat in second place in the NFC North. But Green Bay came out with the win, and guess what? That means Green Bay took over first place in the NFC North, and it sent the Chicago Bears tumbling from the first seed all the way down to the number 7 seed. But they get to collide again next week in Chicago. And while the Packers have to play the Broncos in Denver, the Bears had a get-right game as they absolutely crushed the Cleveland Browns today, 31-3. Jared Goff with a beautiful pass. I think that's to Jameson Williams. And if I'm not mistaken, this is Jared Goff's first game in SoFi Stadium since getting traded to the Detroit Lions. Certainly it's his first game against the Rams in SoFi, but he might have played the Chargers once in SoFi as a member of the Lions. Nonetheless, though, Rams-Lions, it's quickly becoming one of the best rivalries in the NFL. I believe this is the first time they played each other in LA since the trade. And the Bears chased away the dogs. You are 100% right, Grandizer. The Browns didn't even score a touchdown today. Remember how I said, yes, happy Sunday. Remember how I said the Packers, remember how I said the Bills could possibly lose to the Browns, knowing that they have Philadelphia the following week? Yeah, I was wrong. The the Buffalo Bills are going to absolutely obliterate the Cleveland Browns next week. It's not even going to be a fun game. So I'm glad I'll be out of town for it. But nonetheless, 1st and 14 for the Lions. They're in Rams territory. Goff hands it off Jahmyr Gibbs, and he gets maybe 1 or 2 yards. Over in the Packers Broncos game, shout out to my guys, Tom Grossi and Brandon Perna. Tom, thank you so much again for doing the week 3 video collaboration with me this season for the Packers Browns games. You have no idea how much that meant to me. That was like at the very top of my bucket list. So huge check mark there. Brandon Perna, next time the Cleveland Browns take on the Denver Broncos, I want to reach out to you and see if we can set up a video collaboration. In your last vid, don't you have 20 bear claws on the what? I have no idea what you're talking about, Grandizer. I truly don't. But anyway, 3rd and 12 for the Bears, or for the Lions rather. They are across the 50, so I think they're in field goal range. Goff back to pass, and it's complete to Amon-Ra St. Brown, but it is short. So we'll see. Well, no, we won't see. Oh my God, the Lions are actually going to kick a field goal. What the hell is this concept? The Detroit Lions, they're not going for it on 4th down. They actually remembered that they have a field goal kicker. What? Oh my God. The kick is up. And the kick is pulled left. No good. Josh, I said, don't you have to eat 20 bear claws for the Browns losing to the Bears? Wasn't that the bet? No, I don't remember ever making that bet with you or with Brandon. So no. But both games are in commercial right now. But the Bills, they defeated the New England Patriots today, 35-31. So the Bills are very much in playoff contention. So I was wrong about the Buffalo Bills. Their window is still very much wide open. And if they can't take advantage of this season, I'm never going to believe in them again. Because in this postseason, there's going to be no Joe Burrow, no Patrick Mahomes. You might still have Lamar Jackson, but everybody else, you would have Drake May, Bo Nix, CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. You can beat all of those guys if you're Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. This is your best chance to get to the postseason. Or I'm sorry, to get to the Super Bowl. So if they don't take advantage of this season, then I'll say their window is closed. They have got to take advantage of this opportunity, because I don't know when you're going to get an opportunity like this again. As we are back from commercial break in Denver between the Packers and Broncos, and I firmly believe this could be a preview of Super Bowl 60, which is going down February 8th, Santa Clara, Levi Stadium, home of the San Francisco 49ers. And if you remember, back in 2015, Guess who won Super Bowl 50? Oh, yeah, that's right. It was the Denver Broncos. But it is Packers ball right now, near the 50-yard line. Jordan Love, back to pass. And it is caught. That is to Christian Watson. Jordan Love and Christian Watson have found great chemistry with each other over the past couple weeks. He's really developed into a number one wide receiver. I was curious to see how Green Bay was going to adapt after the loss of Tucker Kraft. And I really thought they were going to use Matthew Golden more, but so far he's been a bust as they run it with Josh Jacobs, who's been a big help for me fantasy-wise. Of course, the week I decide to bench Jalen Hurts in favor of Matthew Stafford, what happens? Jalen Hurts goes off for 22 points. But, Jalen Hurts has been struggling mightily the past few weeks. And I'm like, yeah, the Eagles are playing the Raiders, but I still don't trust this offense. So I decided to bench Jalen Hurts. And of course, he ended up picking up 22 points, but I can't do anything, as I don't think Green Bay picked up that first down. They don't. It is fourth down. Let's see what they decide to do with this. Dang, Denver. I don't get it with Denver. Like, I want to believe in them as a legitimate Super Bowl contender, but they don't put anybody away. It feels like all of their games, no matter who they've played so far this season, come right down to the wire. I don't get it. But 4th and 1 here for Green Bay. Are they actually going for it? Here we go. Jordan Love. He gets the first down. Let's switch back over to Rams Lions. Nice catch by Devontae. I've been saying Drake May is the leading candidate for MVP. You have to put Josh Allen into the mix now. He has put the Buffalo Bills squarely on his back. But Matt Stafford, especially if the Rams win today, he will jump to number 1 on that list, in my opinion. As somehow the Charlotte Hornets are beating the Cleveland Cavaliers by 10 at halftime, 57-47. I don't understand how that's happening. But then again, we were trailing the Washington Wizards by like 12 or I think 16 points at one point on Friday, which for me is unacceptable, but that's a different video for another day. 2nd and 10 now for the Rams. Stafford back to pass. And it's intercepted. I think that's Aiden Hutchinson. Can he go all the way? Aiden Hutchinson can't quite take it back for a pick 6, but it's a huge return for an interception as Detroit takes over. And it sounds like there's a lot of Lions fans at SoFi today. And I will continue to say this. I love Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua, Devontae. When Cooper Kupp was there, he was one of my favorite players. And the Rams, in my opinion, have the best helmets in all of the NFL with the Rams horns. However, I hate that they are in Los Angeles. Stan Kroenke, that is your fault. You screwed over the city of St. Louis. The Rams should still be at the Edward Jones Dome. Touchdown, Lions! Amon-Ra St. Brown. What a pass. So the Lions cash in on the interception right away. A beautiful pass from Jerry Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown. And the Lions strike first. But as I was saying, Stan Kroenke, it is your fault. You said, oh, let's make this team as bad as we can so that it looks like the city of St. Louis doesn't care. And then that'll make it easy for me to move them to LA. Well, guess what? The city of St. Louis does care. And the Rams belong in St. Louis. They don't belong in Los Angeles. Oh, and I'll take it a step further. Mr. Spanos. The Chargers do not belong in Los Angeles either. They belong in San Diego. Phillip Rivers, who is playing for the Indianapolis Colts today, I grew up with him playing quarterback for the San Diego Chargers, not the LA Chargers. Antonio Gates, Pro Football Hall of Famer, he spent his career with the San Diego Chargers, not the LA Chargers. LaDainian Tomlinson, my all-time favorite player, he spent a majority of his career with the San Diego Chargers, not the LA Chargers. So, while I don't mind that LA has 2 NFL teams, it should not have come at the expense of St. Louis or San Diego. So, Stan Kroenke, Mr. Spanos, you are both terrible owners. Terrible. But anyway, both games are in commercial right now. Yes, it was Dean Spanos who moved the Chargers from San Diego to LA. So Stan Kroenke and Dean Spanos, I strongly dislike both of you. You are both terrible owners, as they are currently showing a SpongeBob commercial. Which I guess is an advertisement for the new SpongeBob movie. But, and we got an injury for the Packers. And the Packers, by the way, are in those all-white jerseys, which I remember them wearing earlier this season against the Washington Commanders at home. But Brandon McManus sets up to kick the field goal, which would give the Green Bay Packers the lead, as we are currently scoreless. 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter. 53-yard field goal is up, and it's good. And Green Bay takes the lead, 3-0. I didn't know this was a Major League Baseball game between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Colorado Rockies. I thought it was an NFL game between the Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos. But meanwhile, it is 7-0 Lions. Rams have it, 1st and 10. A little Stafford back to pass, and it is incomplete. I think that was intended for Allen, but his ball's incomplete. 2nd down. Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Rinaldi and Aaron Andrews and Tom Brady are on the call for this game. And then you got Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, on the call for the Packers-Broncos game. Of course, Super Bowl 60 will be on NBC, so that means Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth will be on the call. And thankfully, the Kansas City Chiefs will not be in that game. So I don't have to hear Chris Collinsworth giving an absolute love fest to Patrick Mahomes, because that is freaking annoying to listen to. But anyway, so we got about 7.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Lions are up 7-0. 1st and 10 for the Rams. Stafford under center. They send the man in motion. Handoff. All right, we're switching back over to Packers Broncos, as they're giving an update on the Lions-Rams game and showing the touchdown, which I already broadcasted for you, so you're welcome. But anyway, 2nd and 8 for Denver. Down 3-0. If Green Bay wins, they take over, and the Rams lose, then the Packers take over the number 1 seed in the NFC. But it is 3rd and 5 now. By the way, I love these bright orange jerseys for the Denver Broncos. They look so good, especially with the dark blue helmet and the Bronco head on the helmet. It looks so good. 3rd and 5 now. The Broncos are 1 for 2 on 3rd down conversions today. The Packers are 0 for 2. Bo Nix back to pass. Screen. And they cannot pick it up. That'll be 4th down. Let's see what they do here. They pick up about a yard on that one, so it'll be 4th and 4. I may have to check in on Tom Grossi and Brandon Perna, because I'm sure they're calling this game together, because Tom is a massive Packers fan and Brandon Perna is a massive Broncos fan. But anyway, Denver will punt the ball away to Green Bay. We got about 5 minutes left in the first quarter. And that pick took a nice Denver bounce, and the Packers will have it inside the 10-yard line. However, there is a flag on the play, so let's see what this is about. As we've got an injury, so we'll switch over to Lions-Rams right now. So it is 3rd down for the Rams right now. They are currently trailing the Lions 7-0. McVay, who has become just an absolute wizard in terms of calling the plays. 5:50 left in the first quarter. 3rd and 4. Stafford back to pass. Looking. Pressured. He got drilled as he let it fly, but it falls incomplete. 4th down. 5.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. This game is happening at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California. Detroit Lions, LA Rams, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford. I think this is a playoff preview. So I don't think this will be a one and done thing for these two. But the Rams are going for it. They are 13 for 19 so far on 4th down, as we've got a flag on the play. Flag. Oh, there was going to be a false start, but prior to that, Sean McVay calls time out. So the Rams will talk this over. And we'll see if they still end up deciding to go for it or not. So let's see. If the Rams win today, they clinch a playoff spot. They will not clinch the division, though. I believe the division will be decided next week on Thursday Night Football. Rams, Seahawks, Lumen Field. We'll see if Sam Darnold can get over the Rams. Literally. Because the last couple times, Stafford completes the pass. First down, LA. Puka Nakua. But the last couple times Sam Darnold has faced the Rams, it was that big regular season game in LA earlier this season, and I believe Sam Darnold had 4 or 5 interceptions, and then he also played the Rams in that wild card round when he was with the Vikings last season, and it did not go well. Handoff. So that's a gain of about 2, maybe 2 or 3. So it's second down and 8 for the Rams as the Packers have it deep in their own territory, and it looks like they are just going to try and run it to try and get it out of there. But things are interesting in the NFC, I can tell you that, because of the Buccaneers losing on Thursday against the Falcons. Oh, Stafford! Oh, he had him wide open. Man, that would have been a walk-in touchdown. Oh, my God. Oh, wow, that would have been a walk-in. What? Oh, my God. Oh, deep pass. Incomplete for Green Bay. So 3rd and 8 now. Or wait, did he catch this? Oh, he did catch that. My bad. I am mistaken. That is a first down for Green Bay. Luke Musgrave with the catch. That's the 33rd play of 20-plus yards allowed this season for Denver, tied for the second fewest in the NFL. But 1st and 10 for Green Bay. Jordan Love looking to pass, and it is caught. Romeo Doubs. And Romeo Doubs, of course, wears the Guardian cap for the Packers. I've mostly believed in Jordan Love this season. But God, he makes it so hard at times because he has games like week 3 in Cleveland, and he'll have games like what he did last week against Chicago, and you're like, who are you, Jordan Love? So I think he's a top 10 quarterback. I do. But at times, because he's so Jekyll and Hyde, it's hard to justify that. Because again, you'll have games like week 3 against the Browns, or a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Football against the Philadelphia Eagles, but then he'll have games like last week against Chicago, or like what he did on Thanksgiving against Detroit. And you're like, Jordan Love, who are you? Are you actually a great quarterback? And throughout the season, we were saying, Matt LaFleur, are you on the hot seat or not? Like, after that Eagles game, I remember the conversation was, should Matt LaFleur be fired? As, Pat Surtain is injured. But we will switch to the Rams right now because they have it 1st and goal. looking to tie this game up with 2:47 left in the first quarter. And Dan Campbell is challenging something. I'm not sure what it is he's challenging, but we're going to find out from the refs right now. Let's see. I'm curious, what are they challenging? So the spot in the previous play is not reviewable, so it sounds like Detroit will still be charged a timeout. So, yeah. So Detroit is charged with the timeout. They were not able to challenge. So it'll be first and goal for the LA Rams. 2:47 left in the first quarter. Rams trailing 7-0. If the Rams win today, they clinch a playoff spot. And again, they have a massive Thursday night showdown with the Seattle Seahawks in Lumen Field. Walk-in touchdown for the LA Rams. Kyren Williams goes right into the end zone, and the Rams are an extra point away from knotting this thing up 7-7. There was no defense on that one. That was one of the easiest touchdowns I have ever seen. Kyren Williams, had an easy lane. I could have probably gone through that lane to score the touchdown. But nonetheless, Kyren Williams with a 4-yard touchdown run, and we are tied 7-7. So both games are currently in commercial break right now. So Jacksonville remains atop the AFC South, excuse me. Let's check in right now on the Panthers-Saints game. Panthers are currently up 7-0. If I'm not mistaken, Carolina, if they win today, they would take a 1-game lead in the NFC South. However, they played the Buccaneers twice in the final 3 weeks of the season, including next week, as Jordan Love with a nice pass to Matthew Golden, who I was just saying earlier. He's been a bust for them because I thought he was going to be a huge difference maker for them offensively, and yet he hasn't really done anything for Green Bay so far. But he makes a big play there. Green Bay trying to add to their 3-0 lead. They're deep in Broncos territory. This drive, they've rushed it twice, passed it for 4 times for 85 yards, and the drive has lasted 3.5 minutes. They pass it again to Romeo Doubs. There is a flag, though, on the play. Flag. Shout out Tom Grossi. But let's see what this flag is. My guess is that it's on Denver. Nope, it is on Green Bay. Ineligible man downfield. So wipe away the catch for Romeo Doubs. 59 seconds left in the first quarter. Packers up 3-0. Again, I'm not afraid to say this. I think we could see this matchup again come Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara, California, at the home of the San Francisco 49ers, Levi Stadium. 1st and 15 now for the Packers. Jordan Love back to pass. Has to get away from the pass rush, and he runs it out of bounds. And the Rams kick it off to the Lions. By the way, is 2nd and 12, so the Packers lost 2 yards on that one. But it's crazy that these two games are happening at the exact same time. Meanwhile, the Sunday night game and the Monday night game both absolutely suck. For Sunday night football, you got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And then for Monday night football, you got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, neither of which are really interesting games. I guess Monday night kind of is because Miami's trying to stay in the AFC playoff picture. Goff looking to pass, running out of time, and he just throws it out of bounds. And Pittsburgh is fighting with Baltimore for first place in the AFC North. But in the grand scheme of things, not really that interesting because I don't think Miami or Pittsburgh are really going to do anything come postseason time if either of them get in. And then the Vikings, they have their own problems. I'm not even sure they're totally sold on J.J. McCarthy. And Dallas took a huge hit when they lost to the Detroit Lions in Detroit on Thursday Night Football. I guess with Dak and CD and George Pickens, it's going to be an entertaining game, but does it have a lot of implications? No. So me personally, I would have put Lions-Rams on Monday Night Football, and I would have put Packers-Broncos on Sunday Night Football. But that's just me. 3rd and 8 now for the Lions. Goff back to pass, and it is caught. I think that's to Jameson Williams. And it is 1st down, Detroit. That's a nice deep in route by Jameson Williams and a beautiful pass from Jared Goff. I wonder, does Sean McVay's knowledge of Jared Goff help prepare the Rams for matchups with the Lions since Goff is their quarterback? I do wonder about that. As for the Lions, Matt Stafford, there's not a lot of people on this current Lions team who were teammates with Matt Stafford. I think I heard earlier there's 5 players left from Matt Stafford's time in Detroit. So it's not the same. But let's see if Green Bay now can punch it in. 2nd and 11. Packers up 3-0. Jordan Love. Nice pass to Christian Watson. And he gets about the 8-yard line. End of the first quarter, Indianapolis 3, Seattle 3. In 2025, we have 44-year-old Phillip Rivers playing for the Indianapolis Colts. That is because Daniel Jones is done for the season. Anthony Richardson, injured. Riley Leonard, injured. So they had to really break glass in case of an emergency. Jordan Love, nearly caught, but it is broken up. That pass was intended for Romeo Doubs. But it was broken up by, I believe that's Riley Moss, number 21 for the Broncos. So Green Bay is forced to settle for the field goal, a 26-yard attempt. As they look to extend their lead to 6-0 against the Broncos on the road. And they do. So it is now 6-0 Green Bay. even though I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, I'd love to get out to a Broncos game in Denver. That's just one of those stadiums that I feel like as an NFL fan, you got to check off your bucket list. For me personally, I already checked my top stadium off of my bucket list. That, of course, being Lumen Field, where the Seattle Seahawks play. Shout out to my guy, Norbcam. I was there in 2023 when the Cleveland Browns took on the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. He and I did a in-person video collaboration together. It was an incredible experience. Seattle ended up winning 24-20, but honestly, I don't care. I've always wanted to go to a Seahawks game in Seattle, especially against the Browns. And for that to have happened was just absolutely unbelievable. I actually got to check 2 more items off of my bucket list this season. Number 1, I got to do a video collaboration with Tom Grossi, which is still completely like mind-blowing. Because I'm like, Tom is like at the very top of content creators. And I'm still trying to establish myself. So my whole thought was he might email me back and say, thank you for reaching out, but I'd rather work with somebody who's a little more established. But surprisingly, he said, yes, I'd love to work with you and I'll come on your channel. So that was truly amazing. And the other thing I got to check off my bucket list was seeing the Green Bay Packers in Cleveland. David Montgomery with a nice run. So it will be first down for Detroit. But seeing the Packers in Cleveland was unbelievable. I've never seen the Green Bay Packers play the Cleveland Browns in a regular season game here in Cleveland. I've seen the Browns and Packers play each other in Cleveland in a preseason game, but for me, that doesn't count. It had to be a regular season game. Goff with the pass. My problem, though, with the Detroit Lions is they are too much of a trick play type of team. And I think that's ultimately going to bite them in the ass. San Francisco is up 14-3 against the Tennessee Titans. That's really not much of a surprise. How the Browns lost against the Tennessee Titans, I truly don't know. San Francisco is actually still a factor in the NFC West. Both the Rams and Seahawks are 10-3, but the San Francisco 49ers are right there at 9-4. But on 2nd and 7, Detroit gets it, and they will pick up the first down. So it is 1st and goal now for Detroit, who are tied with the Rams 7-7. As we got a flag in the Packers Broncos game. I'm trying my best to give you play-by-play and reaction for both games. I'm trying my best to switch between the two. This is like my version of NFL Red Zone, just without the actual footage of the game. Because I don't want to get any type of copyright strike or anything like that. I want to be able to keep making content. But a holding call against the Broncos makes it 1st and 20. And me personally, I am a believer. 8.2 penalties per game this season. That's the 2nd most in the NFL for the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix back to pass. And it is complete to Franklin. But the Lions, they've got 1st and goal. Nope, 2nd and goal rather. Just about 12 minutes to go in the first half. We are tied 7-7. It'll be interesting to see, depending on how this game goes, how the Rams come out on Thursday Night Football, because you're going to be coming off of playing what I expect to be a very physical, tight game against the Lions, and now you have to turn around and play the Seattle Seahawks, who are playing the Indianapolis Colts. Let's look at that game. By the way, the Panthers still up 7-0 against the New Orleans Saints, but let's look at Colts Seahawks right now. It is still tied 3-3 between the Colts and the Seahawks. So 4th and goal now for Detroit. And are they actually going for the field goal here? Wow. They're kicking the field goal. This is crazy. Jake Bates, of course, missed the field goal attempt earlier. That one was from 43. This one should be much easier as it's only from 24 yards out. Kick is up. And the kick is good. And so Detroit takes a 10-7 lead over the Rams. And now we switch back to Packers Broncos, 2nd and 6. Nix hands it off. And R.J. Harvey doesn't really get anything on that one. And so it'll be 3rd and 5 now for the Broncos, who trail the Packers right now 6-0 with 12 minutes to go in the first half. This game, of course, is happening at Empower Field at Mile High. The Broncos are 1 for 3 on 3rd down conversions today. So let's see what they do. 3rd and 5 now. Bo Nix back to pass, and they convert this one. That pass is completed to Cortland Sutton. So that's a 1st down now for Denver. That's a big 3rd down conversion because you're trailing 6-0. There's 11.5 minutes to go in the first half. Cortland Sutton this season, 56 receptions, 773 yards, 5 touchdowns. Not bad for Cortland. I definitely was expecting more out of him so far at this point this season. But Denver gets flagged for a false start. Excuse me. But it'll be 1st and 15 now for Denver. 11 minutes to go in the first half. Nix. Up. They go with an end around, and they pick up a decent amount on that play. I think that was to Marvin Mims, and it's 2nd and 7. Nice play, actually, by Denver. Oh, that's a big collision. But right now it is 2nd and 7. Just about 10 minutes to go in the first half. 6-0 Packers. 2nd and 7. Bo Nix back to pass. And I'm going to get going because I have to do some research. But hopefully you enjoyed this brief live stream, and I will see you later.